Let me be honest. I spent over $800 last year on a plumber who came out, spent maybe 10 minutes replacing a little rubber flapper inside my toilet tank, and handed me a bill that nearly knocked me off my feet. $800 for a part that costs $4 at the hardware store. And that was a moment I decided never again. In this video, I'm going to share 7 plumbing secrets that most professionals would rather you didn't know, because every single one of them replaces a service call that could cost you anywhere from $150 to over $1,000. And make sure you stick around for the last one, because I'm going to show you the one question you can ask any plumber that will cut their quote almost in half. Let's get into it. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Plumbers aren't overcharging you because the work is complicated. They're charging you because you don't know what's simple and what's not. And honestly, about 80% of the service calls they run are repairs that any homeowner can handle with basic tools and a little bit of knowledge. So that's exactly what I'm going to give you today. Starting with the most fundamental skill and working our way up to the stuff that'll really save you serious money. The first secret is one that sounds almost too simple, but I promise you, it's the single most valuable thing you can learn about your plumbing system. You need to know where every shutoff valve in your house is, and you need to make sure every single one of them actually works. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a small leak turn into thousands of dollars in water damage because someone couldn't find the main shutoff valve while water was spraying everywhere. Your main shutoff is usually located where the water line enters your house. If you're on a slab foundation, check the front wall of your garage or near your water heater. If you have a basement, it's almost always on the wall, facing the street. It'll either be a gate valve, which looks like a round wheel you turn, or a ball valve, which has a lever handle that turns a quarter turn. Ball valves are much more reliable, by the way. If you've got an old gate valve and it's never been replaced, put that on your list. But here's what most people miss. Beyond the main shutoff, every fixture in your house should have its own individual shutoff valve. Look under your sinks, behind your toilets, and behind your washing machine. Find every single one. And once you've found them, here's the critical part. Test them. Turn each one off and then back on. If a valve hasn't been turned in 10 or 15 years, it can seize up completely. And the worst time to discover that is during an emergency. If one feels frozen, don't force it. Apply a few drops of penetrating oil, let it sit for about 20 minutes, and try again with gentle pressure. Knowing your shutoffs and making sure they work is the kind of thing that costs you nothing but can save you $10,000 or more in water damage. That alone is worth more than most plumber service calls. The second secret is about clogs, and this one might surprise you. Most clogs do not need a plumber, and those chemical drain cleaners you see at the store are doing more harm than good. Products with lye or sulfuric acid will eat through a clog, sure, but they also eat through your pipes, especially if you have older galvanized steel or even PVC that's been in service for a while. Over time, chemical cleaners weaken pipe walls and cause joints to fail. I've pulled out pipes that were paper thin because the homeowner had been dumping chemical cleaner down the drain every month for years. Here's what actually works. For bathroom sinks and tubs, 90% of the time, the clog is hair wrapped around the drain stopper or lodged in the P-trap. Pull the stopper out, clean off the gunk, and you're done in 2 minutes. For deeper clogs, a basic hand crank drain snake, sometimes called a drum auger, is your best friend. You can pick one up for about $25 and it'll last you a lifetime. Feed it into the drain, crank it clockwise when you feel resistance, and slowly work it back and forth. Kitchen sink clogs are a little different. They're usually grease buildup. For those, I pour about half a cup of baking soda down the drain, follow it with half a cup of plain white vinegar, let it fizz and work for about 15 minutes, and then flush it with a full kettle of boiling water. Works beautifully. And here's a trick most people have never heard of. If you own a wet and dry shop vacuum, set it to liquids mode, create a tight seal over the drain with the hose, and let it rip. The suction power on those things will pull out clogs that a snake can't even reach. That one trick alone has saved me from calling a plumber at least 3 times. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it's just a small sample of what I've put into my new guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It's packed with step-by-step instructions for hundreds of repairs that can save you thousands. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let's continue. Secret number 3 is how to fix a running toilet, and this is probably the most common plumbing repair in existence. A running toilet can waste up to 200 gallons of water a day, which adds up fast on your water bill. But here's the good news. 9 times out of 10, the fix takes less than 15 minutes and costs under $10. The first thing to check is the flapper. That's the rubber piece at the bottom of your tank that lifts up when you flush and seals the water in between flushes. Push down on it gently with your finger while the toilet is running. If the water stops, your flapper is worn out and isn't sealing properly. Just unhook the old one from the overflow tube. Take it to the hardware store to match the size and snap the new one on. The whole job takes maybe 5 minutes. If the flapper isn't the problem, check your fill valve. That's the tall piece on the left side of the tank with the float attached to it. If water is flowing into the overflow tube, your float is set too high. Most modern fill valves have a simple adjustment screw or clip right on the side. Just lower the float about ½ an inch so the water level sits about 1 inch below the top of the overflow tube. If the fill valve itself is old and making noise or not shutting off properly, a universal replacement kit runs about $8 to $12 and takes maybe 20 minutes to swap out. Compare that to the $200 to $400 service call. A plumber would charge for the exact same job. Secret number 4 is all about leaky faucets. And this is where a lot of homeowners give up too quickly. They see a drip, assume the whole faucet needs replacing, and either call a plumber or spend $150 on a new fixture. But most faucet leaks are caused by one small internal part that costs between $5 and $15. The trick is knowing what type of faucet you have. If it has a single handle that swings side to side, it's probably a cartridge or ball type faucet. If it has 2 handles, it could be a compression faucet or ceramic disc. For single handle cartridge faucets, which are the most common, you just need to pull the old cartridge out and replace it. Turn off the water under the sink. Remove the handle by finding the small screw hidden under the decorative cap. Then pull out the cartridge with a pair of pliers. Take it to the hardware store, match it up, and press the new one in. The whole job takes about 20 minutes. Here's a secret within a secret. If you've replaced the washer on a two-handle faucet and it still drips, the valve seat itself is probably damaged. A valve seat wrench costs about $8 and lets you unscrew and replace it in 2 minutes flat. Most homeowners don't even know that part exists, and most plumbers won't mention it because they'd rather sell you a whole new faucet installation. The fifth secret can alert you to problems you don't even know you have yet. Learning to read your water meter catches hidden leaks before they become disasters. Here's how. Make sure every faucet, appliance, and fixture in your house is completely off. No dishwasher running, no ice maker filling, nothing. Then go out to your water meter, usually near the street under a small cover. Look for the flow indicator, which is typically a small triangle or diamond shape on the dial face. If it's spinning while everything in your house is off, water is moving somewhere it shouldn't be. For analog meters, write down the exact reading. Wait 2 hours without using any water and check again. If the numbers changed, you've got a leak. To test individual toilets, drop a few drops of food. Coloring into the tank, wait 15 minutes without flushing, and check the bowl. Color in the bowl means that toilet is silently leaking. Hidden leaks waste up to 90 gallons a day and cost hundreds per year on your water bill. 5 minutes with your meter can catch what months of ignoring strange bills won't. Secret number 6 is a game changer for anyone who needs to repair a pipe but doesn't want to deal with soldering. Push-fit fittings have completely changed the game for homeowners. Brands like SharkBite make fittings that literally push onto copper, PEX, PEX, or CPVC pipe and create a watertight seal without any special tools. But the prep work is everything. Cut your pipe cleanly with a proper tube cutter, not a hacksaw. Then use a deburring tool to smooth both the inside and outside edges. This takes 10 seconds, but is absolutely critical because a burr will damage the O-ring inside the fitting and cause a leak down the road. Use the depth gauge that comes with the fitting to mark your pipe, usually about 1 inch for half-inch pipe. Push the fitting on until that mark disappears completely. Then give it a firm tug to confirm it's locked. For supply line connections, compression fittings are another excellent option. Slide the nut on first, then the ferrule, the small brass ring, and tighten the nut onto the valve. Hand tight first, then about 1 full turn with a wrench. Don't over-tighten or you'll crush the ferrule and create the very leak you're trying to prevent. Now let's talk about some common problems you might run into. If a shutoff valve won't budge, don't force it with a big wrench because you can snap the stem right off. Use penetrating oil, wait overnight if needed, and apply gentle back and forth pressure. If your drain snake won't pass the P-trap, pull it back 6 inches, give it a clockwise twist, and try again. Sometimes removing the trap entirely and snaking straight into the wall pipe is easier. If a new flapper still won't seal, check the chain length. You want about ½ an inch of slack when the flapper is seated. Too much chain gets caught underneath. If your faucet drips after a new cartridge, make sure you applied a thin coat of plumber's grease to the O-rings before installing. Dry O-rings cause most persistent drips. If your meter still shows flow after checking everything inside, you may have an underground line leak. And that one genuinely does need a professional with leak detection equipment. And if a push-fit fitting weeps, pull it off with the disconnect clip, inspect the pipe end for burrs or scratches, remark the depth line, and try again. Almost every time, the pipe simply wasn't inserted far enough. Now for the seventh and final secret. And this is the one I promised would save you the most money when you do need to hire a plumber. Anything involving your main sewer line, gas piping, water heater replacement, or major repiping should absolutely go to a licensed professional. But here's what most homeowners don't know. You can dramatically cut a plumber's bill by asking one simple question. Can I supply my own parts? Many plumbers mark up parts by 50 to 100%. A $50 faucet becomes a $100 faucet on their invoice. Buy the parts yourself, and you'll cut the total bill by 30 to 50% in many cases. Beyond that, always get at least 3 quotes and ask whether they charge flat rate or hourly, and schedule non-emergency work for midweek. Plumbers are slammed on weekends and charge accordingly. A Tuesday morning appointment can save you 20 to 30% compared to Saturday. One more bonus before we wrap up, and this could save you from the most expensive plumbing disaster of all. Every fall before the first freeze, disconnect every garden hose from every outdoor faucet. A connected hose traps water in the faucet body, and when that water freezes, it expands and cracks the pipe inside your wall. You won't discover it until spring when water pours into the wall cavity. If your outdoor faucets have interior shutoffs, close them and open the exterior faucet to drain any remaining water. For exposed pipes in crawl spaces, garages, or attics, wrap them with foam insulation sleeves. They cost about $3 for a 6-foot section and slide right on. This 15-minute fall routine prevents disasters that regularly cost homeowners $5,000 to $15,000. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my complete guide, the Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It goes way deeper than we can in a single video, with 85 pages covering everything from clearing any clog to replacing your own water heater. If you want to stop wasting money on simple fixes, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.